you want to try and get one up on me, I can, sorry kid, it ain't my first goddamn county fair. But when some guy comes in and been wrestling 5 years, and I've been wrestling 15 years, and it's been to all these different.
All right, Nick, we're recording. We don't do prep work. We don't do big introductions. We don't do any of that bullshit at Lila Studios. We just get right into hanging out.
Here, though.
What's that?
I got my script here.
Oh, you're good. Rip wrote out 3 shows worth of stuff, and we're not doing any of it, so it's great. Isn't that right, Rip?
Shit, you're the boss. I'm just eating.
I got my action figure.
Oh, you got those for sale?
Yeah, you know the best part of having your own action figure, you get to play with yourself in public.
How's that comedy tour going? Is that your first joke that you tell?
That's the first one on the script. Yeah, it's going well. I just had a sold out building in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Potential booking in Winnipeg.
When we texted you and called you that day, who was right? Was it Greater Toronto area, or where was that show at? What we were talking about?
Oh,
GTA or whatever. What's that stand for?
I don't remember.
It was
when you texted me, but I don't remember where I was.
It was like 2 weeks ago. You don't remember 2 weeks ago?
Hold on, I can find it.
In fucking South Dakota.
South Dakota?
Yeah.
You haven't done a show in Toronto, have you, Nixon?
No, I have not.
Okay, so that ends that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know my internet. I don't know the internet. How are we frozen on your end?
No, I think I pulled my calendar up. Sorry.
Oh, okay. There. Okay. Perfect. So how's it going, man? Hey, just for the record, you are kind of you're kind of a tough guy to get a reply from. You know, I'll text you one day and get like a text back 3 days later, and you busy?
Well,
just that busy?
If I reply to everything, it doesn't mean anything.
That is awesome. Yeah, so I told Rip, I said, I don't know, man. I texted him one day, got a reply 3 days, so I'll text him today, and maybe I'll hear from him from Friday. So I called you out on Twitter when the one kid wanted me to promote the show or whatever. Did you a little Twitter tag, so I saw you liked it or replied to it or something. So then I was like, hey, maybe Nick will text me soon. And sure enough, here came the text a little bit after that. That's awesome, man. So how's it going, buddy? You looking great.
Good, man. Just hanging and banging in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the best little city in America.
Hey, still there. So you sent me a message one time about being in Danny Davis's like a birthday coming. And I was like, yeah, when is it? What is it? And never got back to me on that either. So what, did I miss the birthday party?
June, and it's a surprise kind of get together or a surprise Zoom or whatever anybody can do. I'm gonna try to go down to Florida and invade his house and have a little surprise birthday party for him, June 30th.
Hope he's not watching the show. He won't be much of a surprise.
I know. Yeah, you're gonna let the cat out of the bag.
I'll go ahead and edit this part out.
He won't edit it.
June 30th, Danny Davis will be 70 years old.
Wow. Rip, you going? You want to go? Rip's eating right now. He likes to eat during all our shows and it doesn't talk. And
gotta pee.
He's got to pee. We talked to Mike Mondo
from that protein bar company.
Yeah, we need something. We're barely hanging on here at Lila Studios, man.
Oh, hey, come on now. Your YouTube channel is exploding all over the internet. I know it.
Have you subscribed yet? That's the main question. Are you a subscriber?
Yeah, I got 3 channels. They are all subscribed.
Go ahead and
working on that Just for Men sponsorship?
Yeah, I know. Look at yours, dude. That's what I know. I did it for a while and then I quit.
You got to, man. Upkeep, baby.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're gray, right? You're really gray without it.
Don't tell anybody.
Nobody watches this show anyway. Nobody will know.
New crop of freshmen.
You notice how he didn't answer the question if he was a subscriber. He put his own stuff over first.
Yeah, he learns.
You know who else isn't a subscriber yet? Rip still doesn't even subscribe to her own show.
They want that personal information.
So we got a big.
Click the notification bell, so you'll be told whenever Von Lilas uploads something.
Smash
it, baby. So we did a plug. We did our episode 11 earlier today. And we've been here all day, man. We work really hard at Lila Studios. And we put a plug in for your big show coming up against Rob Conway, man. Give us a breakdown. Eugene versus Rob Conway. What's it been? When was the first time you guys wrestled each other, you think?
Probably 1997.
97.
Maybe
so this is
late
like
96, sometime in 97.
So this is legit like 25 years, like the 25th.
Yeah, this is Worcester, Ohio, and it's for a great cause. It's for autism awareness. My good buddy Joel. We're going to be hanging and banging, thugging and bugging, limping and pimping. We're going all the way to Worcester, baby.
What kind of prediction you got? I mean,
pain.
You think you're going to win? I bet on you. And Rip took Rob Conway in the match. He thought Rob would cheat somehow to get a victory, even though he doesn't have to. He said,
as long as he doesn't break out the vicious steel claw, I think I'll be okay.
Are you in touch with Rob Conway these days? You guys still communicate together?
Yeah. About once a month or once every 2 months or so, we'll exchange a text or something, just back and forth.
So do you know the date of this show? I've got down Saturday, May 14th. Is that right?
It's Saturday the 14th or 15th.
Oh shit! I wrote down the 14th. I don't know.
It's the 14th. You're right. Yeah, Saturday, May 14th.
Good thing I told you that. You would have been there the wrong day.
Probably.
Good thing you came on here, man. So we had Mikey Mondo on a little bit ago. We had Timmy Baltimore on. We got all the top stars at Lila Studios today. So we don't do the typical bullshit where you tell your whole life story or whatever. We more kind of just hang out and then plug your shit. And I do have a couple things though I like to get into just because they're personal things I've always kind of wanted to know.
Mm-hmm.
Now obviously you were a wrestling fan all the way through. You did amateur stuff and all that shit. So you were always into wrestling, right?
Absolutely.
Do you remember your very first day of OVW is your first training, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember your first day walking in? Like, do you remember who was there, what you saw, what you thought? Can you describe your first day of wrestling training?
That's when Danny had the shows on Watt Street in Jeffersonville. And I first went to a show. Danny's daughter, April, went to high school with me. She was a year behind me. I was in the homecoming court. I didn't quite make the king, but I was in the court, and they announced this. He wants to be a WWE wrestler. And she came up to me in the hallway and said, my dad's got a school. So I went and watched the show that Sunday. And a few months later, I ended up signing up. I remember Vic the Bruiser was there. Sean Venom was there. I think Big Fat Vito was there.
Big Fat Vito.
Okay.
Vito's a fan of the show.
I love Vito. Hell of a nice guy.
Were you intimidated at all, or did you?
I didn't know what to expect my first day, but everybody took care of me. They didn't beat me up and run me off.
Once you were there, were you intimidated at all? Like when you first walked in, or were you like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do.
I don't remember. I was probably intimidated to some extent. I wasn't probably that self-confident, being there and being new at that time.
I remember going to your class the very first time. I got there like an hour early. Of course, you were always late, but I got there an hour early. And the big Indian dude with the mohawk and the tattoos on his head,
yep,
was like doing squats with earphones in. I was like, holy shit, what am I doing here?
It's a big time.
Thought we had a call in here at Lila Studios. We get a lot of phone calls here. We get a lot of call-ins. We recorded our show today. Max Payne called in today.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you big Max Payne fan by chance?
I'm a fan of Man Mountain Rock.
Oh, you liked him better? Yeah, I like Max Payne better. Who was your very first match against? Do you remember that?
The most handsome man in wrestling, Jason Lee, September the 1st, 1996, I do believe.
No shit. That's awesome, man.
And at that time, I think Rip was in the Maritimes, I believe. So I had seen Rip when I was a security guard when I was first training, but when I debuted, he wasn't there. And then he came back, and I was really intimidated by Rip. He wouldn't berate us, but he would intimidate us. But when we got in the ring with him, it was like night and day. I remember I would ask Rip, "What do you want to do?" Rip goes, "You want to do all those big moves you see on TV?" I didn't know what to say. He'd go, "Do you want to have a real match or you want to have a phony match?" And I would just say, "Whatever you want, sir." I had no idea what to say. But Rip always took care of me, and Rip's the one that taught me the business inside the ring.
Rip, what was your impressions of Nick when you met Nick? Worked with Nick?
Well, he was from Providence High School. So he was already over with me.
Oh yeah, Catholics, baby.
He just called me a shirt lifter.
Well, he was a shirt lifter.
Oh, got another phone call here,
got a
Lila
phone
Studios.
call here. Just a minute. We'll keep on with the thing. Hey, it's Buddy Wayne's wife. It's Nick Wayne's mother. It's Shayna on the line. What?
All right.
What the heck? Hey, you know you're calling Lila Studio, Rip Rogers, right? Hello.
Is this thing on?
Is this thing on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
You sound like you're in a tin can. If I caught you at a bad time.
Well, it is a bad time, you know, but anyway, we're doing the show, so we got you on the show. Eugene's on, Vaughn Lilas. We're all here talking shit, and then you called.
Good.
So and I got my Buddy Wayne hat on right now.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it's
Hello, Mr. Lilas. Hi, Eugene.
Well, hi. How are you?
yeah.
I'm
Well,
good. How are you doing?
Good. We got to get any questions for Eugene while you're on the line?
well,
Do
let's
you
see.
have any questions for Eugene? I don't have any questions. I've always wanted to meet him.
Oh, well,
But
Well,
Well,
he's a hot item.
she's always wanted to meet you, Eugene. She's a big fan.
Yeah.
Do we not meet when I wrestled up there the one time? Do we meet when I wrestled up there? I don't remember when it was. Buddy picked me up at the airport.
Oh,
Yeah, Mitch picked him up at the airport one time, he said.
I don't
Oh,
remember.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I've heard a lot about him from Buddy. Buddy loves him. Said he's an incredible worker, and
oh.
he adored him.
Putting you over, man.
Yeah, it was. So
Yeah,
anyway, so TV land, YouTube land, or whatever the hell we're on. This is Buddy Wayne's wife. This is Nick Wayne's mother.
Yeah.
Nick Wayne, the
Hello,
youngest,
mother. Would you like another?
the youngest pro wrestler in the world. Started when he was about 6 years old at Buddy Wayne Academy, which I got the hat on right now. And his mother's on the line here, invading our show. She's just determined to get over
The run in.
the run in. And
Went into
Nick's,
business for
Nick's with
himself.
AEW. He's when he's 18, he's already signed a contract and he's practicing, etc. with AEW. But when he's 18, he will be allowed to be on a TV show and to their gimmick then. So to the youngest, hardworking, nice guy, professional in the world today, we want to wish him all the luck in the world. And
Man, Rip's nice all of a
oh
sudden.
yeah, I am.
Wow.
So anyway,
Stop the press,
she's
baby.
on the line here. I got my midget hat on, my Buddy Wayne wrestling school hat. Always good vibes talking about the midge and talking about Nick. And you probably butt dialed me anyway for no reason or whatever. So we're in our show. Thanks for calling. I hope you subscribe to Lila Studios.
Smash the like button, baby.
I do. I already subscribed.
All right.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, tell Nicky, I said, hey, tell him he better work his ass off or somebody's gonna take his job. So
Oh, no worries there. That boy never stops thinking about wrestling, whether he's in the ring, watching tape. I mean, it never stops. He's just like his daddy.
well,
Are there
that's
tapes
good.
anymore?
Tapes, baby.
Are
Gotta
there
watch
tapes
tape.
anymore?
Nick said, are there tapes anymore? Yeah, man. I got some of Rip's right now.
Yeah, we have Buddy's entire collection. We have everything. Buddy had a VHS and DVD. We have everything.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
Nick can find anything online. So he's just he's always I mean, literally he's just like a little carbon copy of Buddy. Is if there's free time, he's watching wrestling. If there's no stop in that kid. It's just really he's got a one-track mind, and occasionally probably some girls pop in that brain, but not for long. It's all wrestling all the time.
As long as he gets that midget pose in,
There
that
we
he was
go.
famous for with Pat Patterson. That's all we can hope for. So thanks for calling in, Mrs. Midge. And
All right, Hustler.
and
All right.
we'll talk at you. Say hi to Nikki for me. All
I
right.
will.
Thank you, hon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
We get a lot of calls here, Nick. Sorry, man.
Yeah, with
we're
Max
we're
Payne.
we're over, baby.
Yeah.
Bringing up the hook.
We're over. So you talked about your first practice. Hey, do you remember IUS? You remember being in my class there? You don't remember that, really?
No.
God, I went and watched you wrestle Rip. You're talking about wrestling with Rip.
Mhm.
I went to TV and Rip just beat the shit out of you. But the next day in class, we were in the same computer class, and I look over at your screen, and you got all this WWF, I think probably at that time, stuff on the screen. And I looked at you and I said, "Did you wrestle last night at OVW?" And you were like, "Yeah." I said, "You wrestled Rip Rogers, right?" "Yeah." I said, "I was there." "You don't remember that?" "I can't believe you don't remember that. You just won't put me over on my own show."
No, I'll put you over huge. I just, my memory is kind of shoddy now.
Yeah.
Aha, now you can imagine how mine is.
So how long were you in OVW before you got signed?
I started in 1996, started training in May of 96, and then I was signed to a developmental contract in 99. I did USWA in 97, WCW in 98, signed to WWE in 99, debuted on TV in 2004.
5 years? Okay. What do you remember? I was asking, what do you remember about the day like you got signed? Who was there? Who offered it? Was it in person, on the phone? What were your thoughts on that deal?
I think Cornette pulled Flash and I off to the side and said, "Terry Taylor's offered you guys developmental contracts." But Flash and I were the only two of the OVW guys that were signed. So we were kind of in an awkward position because nobody else got signed. So we really didn't tell anybody.
Oh.
And even the guys that were signed, guys like Cena and Batista and Rico and
So they were there already when you got signed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of them were probably already there. But it was great for me. I was so excited, but I couldn't relay that because everybody else was still chomping at the bit to get signed.
Did you have the like, holy shit, I made it moment when that happened, or?
I don't remember. I don't think so, because we were getting paid a fraction of what those other guys were getting paid. And I don't know. I didn't know if I would ever make it to TV or not. I really thought, I was just going to be a collection of OVW tackling dummies for these stars that we're building for WWE.
Actually, that brings me to my next question. So I've heard Cornette's one of them. I mean, Cornette, I think, really likes you, but he's one of them that says it. Like the Eugene character, like ruined Nick Dinsmore's career and that kind of stuff. My personal opinion is the Eugene character kind of is what helped you. I'm not going to say it's the one thing that made it, but it helped you get on TV and main event and Hogan, Rock, Triple H, a huge run. I mean, what are your thoughts when you hear something like that? What's your thoughts on that?
Nick Dinsmore might have had a run about as long as Brent Albright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was the Eugene character that was over the top entertainment that melded the basics and the fundamentals to the entertainment side. And without Eugene, I wouldn't have had to run or had the notoriety or popularity that I had.
I mean, that's what I say. That's what I always think. And I just wonder if when they say that, if they mean like, I don't know what the hell they mean. Like maybe Nick should have gotten a chance at a WWE run, but I'm not.
If it was 1972, they would have sent me to St. Louis and I'd have been taking on the world champion. That's what Cornette said. But at the time I got on TV, it was 2004, and it was a little bit different temperature.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like, remember when we first discussed this, Nick, and we talked about that? Because you were the best wrestler, pro wrestling candidate that was there. And you wasn't getting a sniff. And we talked about, this is radical. Yes, it is. But you ain't going to make it because they're stuck in something. They didn't give a shit about you being the world's greatest wrestler. They didn't give a shit. And with the Eugene thing, you had a thing with Vince, with the fucking Rock, and you do with Hogan. And as soon as you did that, you were a star. And with becoming a star, all those other people had jealousy for you. And you're in the business that we love and hate. But this is what we wanted to do. And you decided, because I presented it to you, but then, and whatever you did was fine. If you wanted to do it, you could try and run with it. Or if you decline, that's cool. All I was trying to do was get you a job. And once you could do that character, they could fine tune it, whatever, and then lead to the next role or whatever, just to get in there and to be accepted. And, but you were under the microscope when you were there. You were, of course, the older guys were going to set you up because you were surpassing them. You were having segments with The Rock, with fucking Hogan, with fucking Vince McMahon, etc. And these guys have done nothing but worked hard and been consistent their whole life, but they never got that look-see. And, but you adapted, you ran with that character, you gave it your all, and it was, what do you call it? Meteoric or whatever, boom, you went up very high and then you got your wing clipped. You know what I mean? But you were there and you did it. And nobody can take that away from you. And it'd be like Rocky. Yeah, got dolls. And to be like Rocky when he had to change and whether fight right-handed or whatever it was to be Clubber Lang or whatever the hell it was, you went full care. You were full blown and you were in. And no matter what anybody said, you did it. And whether you're in the major leagues for 20 years or a year and a half, you fucking made it. And no matter what anybody says, you were there. And poop on everybody else.
Shit on everybody else. You can cuss a little bit, Rip.
Okay. Well,
Rip's trying to watch his mouth a little bit. Now he's been.
I'm usually.
We got to monetize these videos.
What's that?
We got to monetize these videos.
Yeah, we got to make money. I mean, I think
money,
you can
no
still,
whammies. Well, without Rip teaching me how to work in the ring and having 8 years of experience before I started on TV, without Rip giving me the idea for the character, I presented that idea to the agents when they came down, like Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, Fit Finley, and they all said, wrestling's gone beyond that. You know, we do something different now. We are more reality based. Okay. I let it go. A couple months go by. The writers came down. The writers didn't come down often. The writers come down, and I presented the character to them. They said Vince would never do anything like that. And what I really saw was everybody else complain and then get called up. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. So I just told Doug Basham, I said, I think I'm going to quit and try to go to Japan. I didn't know anybody in Japan. I was sleeping in my own bed every night, top baby face in the territory. I had no, I was not going to quit, but it just went to rattle the chains and see what happened. Doug told Dean Malenko. Dean tells Johnny Ace. Next thing I know, I'm in the meeting with Vince McMahon. Vince goes, I want to get back to character-based wrestling. And it had been 7 months since Rip gave me the idea, 9 months, something like that. And I just spit it out. Stone Cold Steve Austin walks in. This is February of 2004. He was back for one appearance on TV. Vince goes, Steve, have you ever seen this guy wrestle? Austin goes, no, I don't think so. I said, well, Danny Davis helped train me because I knew that Danny and Austin had become friends in Dallas. And Austin goes, well, he's probably one of the best. And it was that vote of confidence that Vince goes, all right, great, we'll start on Monday. Then I got to figure out who the character is. I had no idea. But it fleshed itself out and it worked.
Who came up with the actual name?
Vince, there's a man in Pittsburgh. His name's Eugene. He has Down syndrome. His father was real good friends with the wrestlers, and he would always come to the shows. And Stooge report is that the fabulous Moolah made a man out of Eugene.
How about that? I loved the character, man. I thought you were awesome. I'm not here to kiss your ass on the show, but I thought it was great, man. For me, it was, I mean, obviously it probably helped that I knew you, you know, I knew who you were in real life, but I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great.
Well, it was something different. At that time, it was post NWO, post Stone Cold Steve Austin. Everybody wanted to be a cool, strong heel that got all my moves in.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be complete opposite. They had the brand split, so the only kids character on WWE was Hurricane at the time. So I knew that one brand didn't have a kids character. And I wanted to be a sympathetic comedy babyface that was completely different than everybody else because they didn't have that. And because I'd had 8 years of experience, it all came together. And it was easy because I'd taken all those tests before.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys that go up that didn't have the experience that would fail because they didn't have the experience.
And you had plenty of experience.
Yeah.
Over-prepared, like Rip always said.
Well, Rip, I mean, we would go to the ring. We might have a finish. We might not. He might tell me something. He might not. But I had the confidence in him to lead me, and he had the confidence in me to follow. And it was easy. The light bulb clicked on then.
So you said Rip was in Maritimes. Was he not training? You weren't training him originally? Like
in 96, he was in Canada.
Yeah, I was gone.
But he ended up training you some, didn't he? Didn't Rip?
Yeah, he came back at the end of 96, early 97. I can't remember exactly when.
Do you think I was probably one of your best trainees you ever had?
Without a doubt, hands down.
Greatest ever.
Top.
What was it called at school when you get the best grades? Valedictorian.
Top 500. I remember.
I even turned on you in Muncie High School.
Yeah, I'm glad Rip wasn't at that one. I'm at my own high school. I'm kissing all the girls. And then at the end, I hit Briscoe, the referee, with the brass knucks.
And you hit yourself with that Boston Crab Driver.
Yeah, I did. I busted my head open. Yeah. Yeah, I'm at my hometown, at my home high school, a baseball coach, and I hit the referee. That was awesome.
Okay. Why did they do that?
Well, Nick did it. What do you mean? Why did they do it? Nick was in charge. It was probably the most fun match I ever had. I mean, that thing was so overbooked. You had Melina. she had the thong hanging out the back of her tights in front of all the students. They're all taking pictures of her. I kissed her. I think I think Beth, or maybe that was a different year. Then everybody came from the locker room. I'm throwing like Carlito out and Chris Masters out, Joey Matthews out. And then I get the big win on the roll up, and then he planted the brass knucks. It was for the title too, man. I had the title for a split second. Remember the kids hit the ring? Some of the kids came in the ring.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, it was
Everybody
awesome.
was into it. Everybody wanted to see Von Lilas and the janitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't get better than that, man. What are you doing tonight? I'm going to go watch my teacher and janitor wrestle.
What was the janitor's name?
G-Force, baby.
That's right, G-Force. Okay.
Once you left, though, man, it changed. It wasn't nearly as fun. Al came in, and they just didn't let us. They ran it more like a spot show, and we were kind of the afterthought instead of the main event type thing. I'm like, listen, man, all these people paid to come basically watch me and the janitor wrestle. Like, let's not make it. I remember the one time they were going to have me on like opening match for 5 minutes. And I was like, I didn't pay you $1,500 to put me on first for 5 minutes in front of all these, but whatever.
Remember, Brent Albright wrestled CM Punk, and they were having matches on OVW TV that the crowd was into. That was great. But they came up there and nobody knew who they were because it was outside of the TV coverage area. Yeah. And they did 25 minutes, nonstop, big moves, crickets.
Nobody gave a shit.
Nobody made any reaction. Yep. But that janitor came out with his trash can and they went banana. In here.
Oh, it was awesome, man. Oh, that was so great. I'm just glad you put me over as one of the top students in your wrestling school.
Without a doubt, it had to be you and maybe Mickey McMichael.
Mickey, I thought you were going to say Timberwolf.
Timberwolf's right up there too. Timberwolf. I still get calls every now and then from Timberwolf.
No way. Do you really?
5'2", curly mustache, full of hair.
Dude, that day they said
that was when the light bulb came on. I wrestled Timberwolf, and he kicked out of my finish. I said, "Rip, he kicked out my finish. What am I supposed to do?" He goes, "It's goddamn phony. Give him 10 of them and have him kick out. It don't matter." And it was at that point that I was like, oh, okay. So the next month I wrestled Timberwolf, and I remember Canyon was in commentary. So I did all Canyon's moves and had Timberwolf kick out of all of them. I had Joe Dirt run in, give me a big bump. Joe Dirt's sister and girlfriend, Jill Dirt, came in and gave me a big bump. And I was the OVW heavyweight champion. Everybody beat me up. But I walked out with the belt.
That's awesome.
Memories.
I remember Timberwolf, they sit down Matt Morgan and Nathan Jones. And they
wanted to do a double bill. And they got him up 8 feet in the air.
God, it makes straight on his head. Think about it, man. Right on his head.
He turned purple. His tongue was hanging out. He was hot. And the worst part was his son was there. His son was about, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Dad, are you okay? We had to call the ambulance, came and picked him up, took him and his son to the emergency room.
Oh, I was sick. I was hiding that whole day, man, because they were practicing all their moves for that pay-per-view that was coming up. And they wanted to I think they were debuting on that or something. Maybe. And they wanted to practice big moves or tag team moves. I took the big boot like twice. And then I went to the back of the line and never. And then especially after Timberwolf came on his head, ambulance leaves, and you're like, all right, who's in next? Not a chance in hell.
Yeah, get the fuck out of the ring.
Not a chance in hell. I was getting in there after that. What we got about 10 minutes here. What are you up to nowadays? Plug your shit before we run out of time. We're not done yet, but I just want to make sure you get it in.
Eugene is still on tour, man. I'm still. I got St. Louis this weekend. I leave tomorrow for St. Louis. Big event in St. Louis. I got Worcester next weekend. Got all kinds of big events coming up. You can find me on Twitter at the letter Ugene Dinsmore Dinsmore. I'm on Instagram, Nick Dinsmore. My YouTube channel is my favorite, the Nick Dinsmore YouTube channel, and I got an eBay store, Eugene Dinsmore. Just loving life, man. Living
the dream. So, how was the comedy show? Tell us about the comedy show.
It was good. I can't remember. I did 45 minutes or an hour, and I had over prepared, and I had all my notes laying out there, and I would tell the joke. I talked too fast. I should have slowed down. I watched it back, and I should have spoke up, enunciated more, spoken slowlier, if that's a word.
No, it's not, but it's all right.
But I enjoyed telling the stories, and then all the jokes, much like Eugene's offense, is all stolen, borrowed. It's kind of like a tribute to the stand-up comics that have passed away, and I want to use their jokes since they won't be using them anymore.
So that's one of them right there, huh? 20 that and play with yourself, man. You're on fire, baby. So the next 2 weekends are wrestling shows, though, right? You're wrestling still.
Yep. Doing seminars, doing autograph signings.
And you sold your wrestling.
Timbuktu, Rancho Cucamonga, and Lake Titicaca. And I've learned 2 things. I do my right arm to be ambidextrous. And number 2, yesterday's a history, tomorrow's a mystery. All we have is right here on Von Lila Studios.
That's right, man. You're good. You're over prepared.
Fucking is, isn't he?
Just slow down a little bit.
I know.
What the hell was I just doing? Oh, you sold your wrestling company though, right?
Yeah. Just I was getting so much independent bookings, and the comedy career was taking off that I sold it to a couple of the students that I had, and they're still running today. They're doing well.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome. Who was one person in OVW that you thought was like good, or you really enjoyed working with, or just thought was a solid like performer, wrestler, whatever?
Well, Doug Basham, Rip, you spilled your coffee.
Yeah, I know, all over me.
Doug Basham and Danny Basham were great to work with, and then Rob Conway was great to work with, and of course Rip was like the bar. If you could work like Rip, then you were over. But most guys would want to do too much. I remember Kevin Thorne. I was selling for him. I was down. He's picking me up, clothesline. They're chanting my name. What is the clothesline going to do? Grab a hold. And when we came back, he was a little frustrated. But then after I explained it to him, he goes, "Oh, that makes sense." But
you and Rip ever have any run-ins? You guys get into it for real ever?
No, I don't think so. No. I was a student. I was listening. My ears were open. My mouth was shut. Conway was the one that would at least, to me, back talk him a little bit.
Don't stooge off your opponent coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But after 20 years, he realized, I think Rip was right.
Well, we all went through that. So anything I taught you guys was what the older guys taught me, and it still works.
Yes.
And everybody in their 20s think they're smarter than the old guy, and we're not. They're not, and it's always going to be that way. But yeah, that's like when I was late or had traffic problems or whatever. I was coming from Indianapolis every day, right? You just start class. Nick would run my class if I had traffic problems.
I can't see you being late very often.
Well, sometimes there was wrecks, and you know what I mean, because I was always leaving early to get there. And of course, me, if I was a minute late, I'd lock the door. They're late. Oh, you're too busy being tit bar and whatever. No, get here on fucking time.
Did you ever catch any heat for being?
The only time I ever saw Rip get angry was when Jason Lee attacked him with a title belt on and busted his head open.
He busted my head open.
White blonde hair, blood all streaking out of it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Well, he had his belt on, and we did something, and my head hit his fucking belt. But he didn't know to take the belt off. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just part of. But I imagine after I explained it to him in a nice way, which I didn't do, that he would never do that again.
But the thing was, I learned from that too.
Right.
I never attacked anybody with a belt on, or if it was going to happen, I'd make them take the belt off.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's stuff. Yeah, you let one guy make the mistake, yell and scream, and everybody remembers the lesson.
Yep.
So that was good.
Now you were kind of like Rip said, you started class, he wasn't there. You were always kind of the, I would say, the go-to. Did you ever catch any heat from the other boys for like being tight with Rip at all? Because Rip wasn't he wasn't the most popular person in the world with some of the guys, you know.
What they would do was when they were late, he would lock the door. They would text me, "Hey, open the door for me." So I'd sneak them in real quick. So, and I remember I was late one day, and Rip started yelling at me. I said, "Well, I had to stop and get you a protein bar." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And that started the whole bring the protein bar and you get over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the guys at ECW would always bring you. Blair would always bring you all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Until you like passed out and went to the hospital and whatever else.
I remember when I passed out, Nick, and I told you to run the class, or I told Rob, or I can't remember.
I think it was me because the paramedics came and it was a woman. And he goes, "I'm dying," and then farted.
Good rib. Fucking serious fucking ribbage. Greatest times of your life, wasn't it?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And you can tell them that. And then 20 years later, you think about it and said, yeah, sure was. We had some great fucking times. Fucking ribbing, the camaraderie, learning that fucking shit. Didn't have a fucking pot to piss in, but you got to be in your hometown pretty much, sleeping in your own bed, making money from fucking wrestling, and then getting a big fucking break. That's like a goddamn movie right fucking there. You know what I mean? But then again, you did everything. You knew you was a real athlete. You was a real wrestler. You knew the work you had to do. You know that attitude is everything. And to take something negative and turn it into a goddamn fucking positive. And all you guys, the originals, they were all fucking role models. And I didn't like my football coach, my baseball, or any of my coaches when I was there because they was pushing me. They'd yell at me and I'd yell back at them and they'd tell me to run some more. Oh God. Memories.
It was Rick that taught me to, accentuate your strengths and then in training, work on your weaknesses. Hide your weaknesses until they become a strength. Yeah. I wasn't the biggest guy. I wasn't a body guy. I wasn't the best talker, but Eugene didn't have to be. Eugene was Eugene.
Eugene was awesome, man. Now Eugene's on worldwide tour. You can see him on, what month is this? May 14th, baby. In where at, Eugene?
Worcester,
Ohio.
Massachusetts. Worcester, Ohio.
Nick Eugene Dinsmore versus the Iron Man, Rob Conway. I got Eugene. You took Conway.
Because he's going to be doing it the Conway.
He's going to be doing it the Conway. What about his muscles, man? Are you scared of his muscles at all? Have you seen him lately?
No, it's going to make him slow and not flexible. And this is a long time coming. I'm going to put a whooping on him.
Oh, before we're out of time, we got like a minute 30 here. What about this freight train, dude? Is this back or are these old videos I'm seeing?
It's the 10-year anniversary that created the legend of Eugene versus Freight Train. I've got a whole collection. And if that doggone Freight Train will get in the ring with me again, I'll take him on anywhere in the world.
Can he even move now?
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
it was his birthday last month. He texted me back, "Happy birthday." That really got me. I'm going to put a whooping on him,
Wait a minute. It was his birthday. And what now?
Nick texted him happy birthday.
And he texted you back happy birthday?
Yeah, he said thank you.
No, he said thank you.
I'm going to put a whooping on him.
Oh, okay.
Man.
It don't get any better than
Freight Train. I might go to that if that happens.
Find a promoter that's willing to promote that match.
Freight Train versus Eugene. Maybe we'll do it here at Lila Studios. All right, we got like 30 seconds, Nick. So Fridays, we film a lot on Fridays. If you ever want to come back on, hang out, shoot the shit, plug some stuff, come and see us. Text me back within like a couple weeks or whatever, and we'll have you back on. Hey, good luck against the Iron Man. Eugene, Nick Dinsmore, baby.
Don't get any better than that.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
See you, Nixon. Live the dream, baby.
Want to try and get one